Oh my, it's time now for another exciting episode of Mr. Nailsin's Wednesday Comics. And it's only going to be about Ghost Machine titles. Two in particular, that being Geiger and Redcoat. So we'll just get on over to Redcoat, which I'm catching up on Redcoat. So it's 3 issues of Redcoat. And one of Geiger. So that's just how it went. It wasn't really any objective thing. I don't have a good copy of the cover here. I could have just put it on the table and turned the camera on, but it's just so much easier to read the preview pages, which are in much better shape. But this is continuing on after the horror story that happened. Now it's Simon Pure going through American history and running into different characters from there and that sort of thing. So each issue, 2 has that, and then it gets back into the overall strange narrative of what this is all about and him being immortal and all that. So it starts off in 1816 as each story begins. My name is Simon Pure, or Simon Pure, though I'm anything but, as you'll come to know. So, oh man, what's running through here, tearing up all the trees, the apples going everywhere? Now, most folk who've spent even a fleeting moment with me reach that conclusion quite quickly enough. Which way did it go? Save for one man. I'd reckon, Simon. This is humongous gouge. What could it be? It went that away. Huh? Born John Chapman on September 26, 1774, he's best known by his iconic moniker, Johnny Appleseed. He was the very first friend I ever made. So anyway, right off the bat, of course, like Mark Miller, Jeff Johns is able to recruit top-notch artists, and this is no different when it comes to Redcoat with Brian Hitch's work, and it's just really good. Of course, this is a double page spread, and it's an adventure with Johnny Appleseed, who is ever bit as nowhere near as much of a scoundrel or rogue or what have you that Simon Pure is. Of course, this is sort of like the Han Solo thing. You know, he starts out as this criminal, but deep inside, he had a heart of gold. And when he meets Luke and Leia, he changes his ways and stuff. And of course, Simon Pure was this a-hole who, but is not necessarily evil or villainous or what have you, and oftentimes ends up becoming heroic. So here he encounters someone who's really good in Johnny Appleseed. And it's going to have an effect on him where he does have a conscience in there. So anyway, that first round of drunken tales, we had a good laugh about George Washington's fondness for cherries. Johnny told me how Washington once demanded he plant them instead of apples. With a twinkle in his eye, Johnny refused Washington in a way that left the founding father more befuddled than angry. Instead, Johnny proposed a contest. Who could plant the most trees? A year later, Johnny's apples had outnumbered Washington's cherries 1,000 to 1. Washington uncharacteristically conceded, and so the apple became the quintessential American fruit in both orchard and pie. I parted ways with Johnny, wishing him well, expecting never to see him again. Yet 4 years later, in 1802, our paths curiously crossed along the Ohio River, not long after the territory had gained statehood. This time, Johnny asked my assistance in freeing a family's farm from the headless horseman of Chillicothe, a somewhat sad spirit who, it turns out, was simply searching for his missing skull. You know, they really should have just done that story. That would have been cool. Oh, well. After much effort, we found it in the possession of a rather bad actor, using it to perform an ill-advised one-man adaptation of Shakespeare's Hamlet. We returned the skull to its original owner, and the grateful spirit joined us in drinking Johnny's cider until dawn. From that day on, Johnny and I agreed to meet every summer. Some of our annual gatherings brought adventure, others a simple stroll, but all ended with cider and stories. Do you feel that? Feel what? The ground's shaking. Blimey, I thought it was my stomach. However, this time promised something quite peculiar. It doesn't even show. Okay. It wasn't my fault, you know. Are you suggesting it was mine then? Well, I'm just saying I usually get the blame. Blame doesn't fix a thing, Simon. What's done is done. Now pull up your bootstraps and let's set it right. When I encountered Johnny in the spring of 1798, he cut a curious figure, barefoot, with a dented pot as a hat, scattering apple seeds as he wandered across Pennsylvania. His clothes may have been patched and worn, but his spirit seemed unblemished. I can't see straight. In the wake of our drinking tonight, I wouldn't have assumed otherwise. With a charisma few could resist, Johnny spoke of the wonder of nature, drawing crowds that hung on his every word. Johnny asked nothing for his services, save that half of their first harvest be given to the hungry. When Johnny and I first met, he looked me over and said, "Ah, a man enchanted, just like my seeds, stolen straight from John Adams' farm in Quincy." You see, Johnny Appleseed wasn't magical himself, but he claimed he could sense magic, as one smells apple blossoms in the spring. It left a mighty trail, didn't it? You may have grown quite crooked, Simon, but I can see you have good roots, Johnny declared of me. He was, of course, mistaken. You see, I was left on a church stoop as an infant, later raised by a rather cruel man paid by the parish to play the role of father. From such a start, I learned one lesson: to never expect kindness from others, including myself. I've never corrected that Johnny thought of me, believing he'd see the truth one day and abandon this friendship. I dread that moment, but I know it will come. In any case, during that first meeting, Johnny offered me some of his homemade cider from a unique jug he carried made of moonstone. To this night, it's the finest drink I've ever tasted. This run's left me parched, Johnny. Pass it here. I'm afraid we left my jug back by the fire as empty as the pot atop my head. And drinking us dry, my friend, is your fault. Well, as you said, what's done is done. And that's all there is. Now, what are they chasing? Well, it's something giant. Does it involve apples? Yes. But you'll have to check out Redcoat. I've already forgot what issue numbering it is. It's number 9. So there you go. That's all you got to do. Redcoat issue number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. So there we go. Now, where we get to the next one. For the next legend that Simon encounters. And it's Annie Oakley. Yeah, of course. Why not? Still not a good copy of the cover, but it's a wraparound cover, the front being here and stuff. Seems he's insulted Miss Annie. But anyway. So, oh no, choo-choo train, and he's already in trouble on the run, and the typical. So, of course, the opening. Or at least, he doesn't have the first page. Okay, or at least it tried its best too. Shoot him! The bullets buzzed by my ears like black flies. But my freedom was only a leap away. Huzzah! Into the pigs. We'll string you up, you lying cheat. You'll have to catch me for... Oh! Close call, eh, friend? Oink. My name is Simon Pure, though I'm anything but, as you'll come to know. On this fine fall day in the year 1890, I find myself reflecting on the element of luck. I've long known we have no real agency when it comes to our destiny. You see, fortune plays dice with lives. I've just learned to roll better than most. That's how I got this hefty sack of cash liberated after a spirited evening of cards in the charming town of St. Joseph, Missouri. Their saloons embrace the West gambling, though the locals lack its finest skills. My downfall was a single coin falling from the table as I scooped up my winnings. In my haste to catch it, my beloved Redcoat betrayed me, sending aces of various suits out of my crimson sleeve. Suffice it to say, my companions realized I had been enhancing my odds throughout the night, and thus misfortune came calling. It's out of whack. That's actually the first page. But anyway, you get the deal. I made my escape thanks to the lucky timing of the train and a happenstance of a nearby bridge stretching across the Missouri River. Well, Simon Pure, you son of a... The steam whistle blew, cheering me on while the mob faded away. Circumstance had saved me. As the train rumbled on, I leaned out so the poor lads could see me rejoice. "Todd, gentlemen!" When I did, I felt an invisible hand on my shoulder. The same presence I had first encountered back on that cold day in 1776 when immortality was accidentally bestowed upon me. Me, the most unworthy of men, which only proves my point. Life is written at random. I turned towards this mysterious judge and saw nothing. So this is in keeping that there's a guilt here. He's been given this incredible gift of immortality, and yet he's like, I'm the last person who should have had that. He just stumbled into it. And of course, this continues. So, like Johnny Appleseed, he meets Annie Oakley. Of course, in Annie's case, he pretty much becomes quite smitten with her, but she's already married, so he's just got to move along with all that. But it's sort of a tour of American history they're doing. I don't know what others. I'm sure they'll return to that as you go through the decades. But it's little vignettes through it when you get back to the overall arc of whatever this is and how it connects to the overall Ghost Machine story that is being weaved before your very eyes through the overall story. All right, we will move on to yet the next one. No, not that one. This one. Thank you. So this one is introducing a new character for Ghost Machine overall. Well, we'll get into it. He's called the Northerner, and he's a mysterious individual. And as it unfolds, we'll get the idea. But anyway, so there's already been, this is in Civil War era, and this young black girl came across some information that the Confederates have. She steals it. She's on the run through the woods. Two Confederates are chasing her, and this mysterious Northerner shows up. Gotcha, you little rat. You're getting hung right here now. Let me go. But what was that explosion? So there was some weird blue explosion that had the arrival of Northerner here. Felt like a cannon going off. A cannon? Where? North. Way up north. So here's the thing. So he looks like he's dressed up like a Union soldier and all that stuff, and yet look at the pistols. So obviously, the Northerner is a time traveler. So he's been to the future. Is he from the future, or was he thrust into the future and he's brought, modern weapons, or future weapons rather, into the Civil War? Well, that remains to be seen. But he just arrived, and that was the weird explosion that they heard and saw the glow and everything. So I guess he kind of arrives like the Terminator does, except, not naked. What the hell is that boy holding? Get. And he blows them away. It's just as simple as that. Okay. I think it does skip ahead, but he's taking the information the girl had and burning it. So never mind me. You were brave to take this from those soldiers. I hear things. They say in the mill. So I tell people who will warn the Union. Soldiers like that killed my mother and father, sir. I'm sorry. They said what's in that satchel would guarantee the South would win the war. What is it, sir? Not my primary concern. I never seen money like that before. That looks like Jefferson Davis. So it seems to suggest, I'm guessing here, that Northerner is from an alternate timeline where the South did win the war and that sort of thing. And that he's like Quantum Leap, leaving back to put back what once went wrong and all that kind of stuff. That might be his story. Which, the overall connection of Ghost Machine and whatnot with Redcoat is that, it spans centuries and decades and all that. Then you got Junkyard Joe was introduced in, I was going to say World War II, but no, the Vietnam War. So on and so forth, all the way into the quote unquote future of our current times, but that in the Ghost Machine world, well, there's some war that breaks out in the nuclear war and all that. So little by little, these little things are supposed to bring it all together. Hopefully they've mapped it out successfully enough so that it does actually work. But once it does, well, that kind of ends the overall story, doesn't it? Well, maybe they'll think of something else. So anywho, it's out of sync again. I'm sorry. Gee, I don't understand why the numbering's messed up. All right. This took place before that page. The satchel's the problem. Bring it here. What kind of guns are those? My kind. What year is it? 1864. What day? July 17th. Not much time. So there's some weird designs here and stuff. This probably has something to do with the group that messed with immortality, or they at least know about it, whatever. Anyway, and then there he's got this modern lighter to burn the papers. I need to burn these and be on my way. What part of the North are you from? It is Jefferson Davis. Oh, so now we skip back. God, it's all out of sync. I'm sorry about that. So is that money? It's my bookmark. It lets me know when I'm done. Now that we've met, you aren't safe. I can't leave you here. You need to come with me. To where? And so whatever this symbol means, whatever it's burning and all that. to find a man who fights for nothing but himself. That, of course, brings the story back to me. Shall we press on? But we can't. That's all the preview we got. So he's this issue is to meet up with Simon Pure, and of course he knows something of Simon's future, but Simon, of course, doesn't realize it yet. That sort of thing. But I suspect that's the deal. He's from an alternate timeline, and he's changing history so that the timeline he's from that never happens. And as far as this girl, I guess she becomes a regular sidekick for him when they get to his own title. So it's just my guess, but he's obviously a time traveler, no doubting that. But, we'll just have to follow the story to get all the details of how that came about and what it's about. It probably also leads to whatever group that's messing around with achieving immortality and whatnot. Alrighty. Now we head over to Geiger, which still I think is the best of the batch of Ghost Machine. But they're all really good titles, and Ghost Machine and Miller World are the best there is as far as comic books today. So there's the cover. Of course, last issue he was seeking the other glowing person like himself, and then he meets her. But she knows how to control her powers, is trying to teach him how to do it, and all that. So we get her backstory here, and this is too early. Let me see. It's all messed up. That's supposed to be the last page. So here she is. Oh, I think that's probably the scene. But so she's been affected the way Geiger was. She does have the power. She doesn't understand him. This is why she's a young girl, and her people reject her. They think she's something weird, and ends up in these guys were messing with her. I think they were going to abduct her, and then she explodes with radiation, and they burn up, which they kind of had it coming. No, this is the end. Okay, I've got that wrong. This is earlier on. Man, this is a mess. How it's all out of sync. This is the scene. After a while, she's been pretty much rejected, so she moves on, comes upon this scene where this truck's full of food, and she's trying to get something to eat. So she get it, and then she steals from it, and then these guys show up. Got her. Hey, let me go. They fall for the junk food every time. So it was basically a bait, a trap to kidnap young girls. I don't see anything of value on her. She's the value. The hillborn will pay plenty for one as young as her. So they think it's hilarious. But she explodes in the flame that we see here, burning them all up. Geez, I'm really far behind. So does this go all the way? No, it's just the cover. All right. So she exploded there. So she went this way. What are we going to do? She burns everything she touches. Let's see how she likes it. So they're hunting her down to kill her, find the witch. We're coming for you, and that's when she ends up hiding in the tree and all that. Then she comes out, steals the food, and then those creeps get a hold of her. But she explodes again and burns their asses. So she's hiding and whatnot, and then here comes Dr. Molotov. And we see how they first met. So he's looking for Geiger, you know, but instead he discovers there's someone else has the same condition. Oh, you're not him. Hello. It's all right. I won't hurt you. It was 10 years ago I found her. Well, the things have turned. I guess he became this father figure for her. And then she decided to turn on him and has locked him away. And she's up to something. But at this point, she's won the trust of Geiger himself. He doesn't know about Molotov still being alive and all that. But so mysteries abound. But again, another great artist, intriguing story. And all of the Ghost Machine stories I read are, at the very least, very interesting. But I still kind of hold Geiger as, the best of the batch. But that can change. Rook is a really good one, but apparently is not connected to all the other titles or that sort of thing, which is fine. But all around, Hyde Street's another one I need to catch up on. That one is pretty good too. It's this weird combination of an anthology tale, but also with its own narrative weaved in and that sort of thing. So, Ghost Machine is worth checking out. Can't praise it enough, you know? So, anywho, let me check out what we have here, if any, in the chat. No chat. All right. Well, then that'll wrap this up for this particular episode of Wednesday Comics, which was, oh, damn, I could have had Glowing Man up here on the screen. And I didn't do it. There he is. My own drawing of Glowing Man. And I could have had the title up here, but it's kind of in the way, you know. So anyway, there we are. Wednesday Comics. What will I read next week? I don't know. It could be I'll just do a review on an older one and that sort of thing. Or if I find the time, I'll buy some new comics and read those and tell you what I think. That's pretty much the whole deal. It really is. All right. Have a good rest of your day. I got to go to bed because, I'm a night owl. And rest up for Doomcock's Pop Culture Breakdown. Begins at 7 o'clock, 7 Central. My time is Central Time, And probably going to talk about poor, stupid Doctor Who again. Andor, I did my review, and that'll be out rather shortly. I'll post it, and you can check that out as well. So again, have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon.